One of my favourite drills, both as a coach and a bike fitter. We can learn so much about you in this. Okay, so you don't have to be a bodybuilder or deadlift like some bloody Olympic champion to be strong. Today I'm going to show you 3 strength building tips that you can do on the bike that's going to make you stronger in the legs, increase your power and bulletproof your body, all without ever stepping one single foot inside a gym. So, if you've ever felt like your power is vanishing faster than your hair on those climbs, yes, or you get lower backache by grinding those big gears, you're going to want to pay attention to this video because these 3 drills, okay, they're simple, they are specific, and they're scientifically brutal. And I'll introduce you to my little friend, my BFR cuffs, and how I use them in 20 minutes of training. The 3 drills I'm about to share with you, they all work together. You might be able to do all 3, but there's definitely one that you can focus on, depending on your goals, obviously, and where you're starting from. So, BFR, what's the story, coach? Are you going to do a review on what you use, what you wear? No, look, I use Go Be Strong and Recover Fun. Why? Because Recover Fun is about 1/4 of the bloody price of Be Strong. The Recover Fun bands are wider so I can get less pressure. Now, I'm not going to go into all the numbers. You want to know more about BFR, you can jump into the link I've got. Find out in my Bulletproof ecosystem, in my community. I go into it in much more detail there and I share a lot more, but that's your call. Stick with me on the video because I give you enough information. I was introduced to the cuffs when I was 30, a long time ago. They've been around for over 50 years. But the whole idea is no loading, so no muscle friction, but an anabolic hormonal response. So the brain thinks it's doing a strength session. Yeah, I'm going to do 20 minutes at 40 to 50% of my FTP. And that's it. You see, the reason I don't talk a lot about it on YouTube is because there are so many people want to hack the system. Can I do a VO2 session with them on? No! It's fucking dangerous because you're causing some form of blood occlusion. How much? 60 to 80%. Not 100, okay? Your leg's not going to fall off, and if it starts to go blue, stop. But you've got to get a good bill of health from your doctor, okay, to make sure you've not got any blood pressure issues. You pump the thing up. I won't go through the pressures, it's fairly simple, but it's all to do with your leg width and your own health anyway. But normally, somewhere around about 160 mmHgs, okay? Works for me. Now, I will do this in the morning, as I say, 3 times a week. That's my peak. Normally it's maintenance of 2 times 20 minutes. Trust me, you're going to feel like you're climbing Mount Everest in a pair of ski boots. Your legs will start to feel heavy. Now, here's a good starting point. These things, I'm not going to give you the price, or I'm not affiliated by them, okay? I've got no links. You can just Google it yourself. But the thing is, I recommend if you do go down this route, walk around in them for 10 minutes. Do some squats with them on before you actually get on the bike. They're very comfortable. Look, I'm pedaling at a very low power at the moment, but I can start to feel it already. It feels like you're going uphill. Now here's the Brucey bonus. For anyone outside the UK, you probably don't know what that means, but now then, okay. But the thing is, you're going to get what we call a systematic overload to your body because this hormonal response you get has an impact on your cardiovascular system, has an impact on your capillary network. This is the whole point of the thing being designed in the first place. It was to help patients who had cardiac problems, needed a little bit of training, needed a bit of resistance work, but they were too weak and frail to do it. That's why it's popular with athletes who are recovering from injuries, knee injuries, hip injuries, basketball players, American footballers, any type of athlete, they're doing it. They're maybe not telling you. And for me, in my recent stay in hospital, which was 12 days, I was able to do a race 4 weeks later and dip under 22 minutes for a 10-mile time trial at my age. And it was thanks to these. So, we'll move on to the next one because I've only done 5 minutes and I'm already out of breath. Yeah. Okay, but as I said, you want to know more information about them? I talk about them inside Bulletproof. Now watch me walk with them. No, I'm only joking, I can walk fine with them. Easy to use, easy to disengage, easy to take the pressure off. Wait, I'll show you, look. And that's about as pleasurable a feeling as a 54-year-old man can get without the internet. Drill number 2 is a low cadence, one of my favourites, but there are a couple of rules that I want you to follow, extra little tips. So first of all, you got a mobile phone. Of course I do, coach. What do you think I am? Okay, I want you to set it up so that you can video your ass. That is ass videoing. That'll get YouTube to ban me again, I'm sure. We want to pick up the pelvis stability. Hold on a second. Let's get our friend. Leave me alone. Shut up and get over here, okay? Get your ass on there. I am an ass. I know you are. Right, so we've got the pelvis, and what we're looking for is, when it's pedaling, it's going to move, isn't it? Of course it is. Nobody's rock solid. But this movement, the brain detects and it wants to stabilize, yeah. And by stabilizing it, what's it going to use? The glute muscle. But you're using your lumbar, okay? Because your glute's really weak. And if you're in the wrong type of bike fit, you're overreaching, etc. Yeah, lumbar comes under pressure, and that's why it's hurting. So we're gonna build up using a deadlift on the bike. Yeah, your deadlift bike drill by doing this cadence of 60 and the power towards the upper end of zone 3, even getting towards threshold within about 4 weeks of starting this. What's the goal? If we can do 3 to 5 minutes, wonderful. And what we're going to do is we're going to video, and if we start to rock and you know it, you're going to watch yourself on your own little home video on your phone. You just decrease the power. Stop being a fanny and chasing bigger power, because that's going to blow up your back. What we're doing is making long-term goals. Remember, bulletproof your body. Why 60 RPM, coach? 60 RPM is 1 per second for a minute, yes. And 1 per second is a good number to allow the muscle fiber, okay, and the nervous system to spend a little bit longer under that tension. You're gonna warm up. I do this in my zone 2 training, I might do it at the end, I do it when I'm out in the road, I do it on climbs, and it's all about this still position and finding the point whereby you can't hold that anymore and you start to grind. You're not in a fucking Tour de France trying to win the yellow jersey. What we're trying to do is to find 60. What does 60 look like, coach? I haven't got an RPM. Get one then. It's a good tool. That's 60. I'm gonna warm up and I'm just gonna move it up to 20. Okay. I'm gonna keep it there just now because I'm not fully warmed up. So what we're trying to do is I'm trying to feel the stroke. Now I can actually do this at this level at 50. And what I wanna do is really try and force, do not try to swing, okay? Because what will happen is your cadence will go up. Big deep breaths, relax, and just visualize. Now you can play games with this. You can measure what you can hold for 3 to 5 minutes. Do it at the end of a zone 2 ride. Do it at the end of a club ride. Look, I wasn't joking. You can see I'm getting a little bit out of breath there, but the idea is that this becomes this full body workout. Bring your hips forward a little bit. Yeah. Roll your pelvis so that it gets into this power position, so you're using your glute, and just play around with the cadence. And next time you're out in a climb, spend time practicing this. Watch others and watch the movement and see who complains about a bad back first. This drill works. Sure, there's anecdotal research. Does it work? Doesn't it work? Look, ask any rider who's been doing it for 30 years. Ask a lot of the pros. They do it within the training. Did you know that every single ride you do outdoors has got a variable cadence? You haven't got a specific cadence. It's variable due to the terrain, the wind direction, and how much of a fanny you are. Yeah, when you go fast, your cadence goes up. When you go slower, your cadence goes down. But when the hills start to come, you get into this rhythm. And even though you want to put it in the smallest ring and spin up to save your legs, maybe now, practice this drill. If you do it indoors, it can bring unlimited results. Trust me. Add it in every single week. You might not have the BFR, so this is where you start. And you build it in 2 times a week. Yeah, I could do 2 times 3 minutes. I could do 2 times 5 minutes. I'm gonna build that up. You don't need to be doing any more in any one block of 20 minutes in the week of this type of drill. You do too much, you will just overload yourself and you will cause too much friction with those muscle fibers and you won't recover. Because look, at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, people's nutrition is shit anyway. One of my favourite drills, both as a coach and a bike fitter. We can learn so much about you in this. Okay, so most people, if I put them in the bike fit studio, the right and left foot, they tell you different stories. They're not the same. Now you probably already know this about your feet. You've maybe got one foot bigger than the other. Like me, you've got a Hobbit foot and a Yeti foot. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass when I'm trying to get into those high heels. Yes, my new cycling shoes. Enough about that, coach. Okay, anyway. Left and right foot are not the same. One of them's dominant, one of them's less dominant. One of them's got better proprioceptive control. How do I know, coach? Well, if you've never done sport and you've never kicked anything, you're not going to know. You'll have more control on one side than the other. Just like my hands, coach. Yes, just like your hands, but you know that because you're picking your nose, scratching your crotch with your hands all the time. But we don't know with our feet. You plug them both in and you think they're doing a great job. Oh, my power meter gives me a left-right balance. It doesn't. Okay, well, it's not telling you the whole story. Okay, let's go back old-fashioned way. Take one foot out. Now, by doing this, not only are we upskilling our pedal efficiency, but we're also adding strength. And I would get more experienced riders to do this when they're fatigued, 2, 3, 4 hours. Do this to stop you being a fanny on that Strava segment that you put in just before your house. Yeah, so you do a proper cool down. Fannies. It really works. So you can practice this indoors where it's safe. Now I would say it's safe where you don't fall off your indoor bike, but thank you for all the messages from people who have fallen off their indoor bike. I mean, as cyclists, we're full of wankers, aren't we? What we've got to do is not over torque here to begin with, because this is going to show up if your cleat is even in the right position. Oh my God, it's so exciting. So, first of all, I'm going to do my left foot. So all you're going to do really is 30 seconds. That's all you're going to do. And what we're looking for is this nice smooth efficiency. Now what happens when you're doing the leg drill is you feel the sweep and then you pop it up. Do not lift the foot up. You sweep and it comes back up. And you get used to this drill to begin with. Now, if you start hearing a clicking noise, that means your foot, I can exaggerate it, your foot there and pedal are moving at different speeds. You hear that? That means you're pedaling like a fanny, okay? Because you've got less efficiency. Have you ever heard of the phrase pedaling squares and pedaling circles? We want to pedal in circles. So the sweep phase at the bottom allows you to return because the fucking crank is made of carbon, metal, alloy, steel, whatever you've got, right? Metal covers a lot of them, okay? It's not spaghetti, cooked spaghetti. It's going to return, so don't yank it up. Inefficient. Power going upwards. I can send you that way, unless we're standing up and sprinting. Now, all you're then going to do is you're going to increase over the weeks, over the months. This is not going to happen overnight. You're going to increase the pressure, right? Now, I would always start a rider with their weakest foot, or what they think their weakest foot is. 30 seconds. So that would be the warm-up one, nice and easy. Put the right one in, for me, because I kick the wife with my right foot. I mean, I kick a ball with the right foot. Dog, cat, anything that comes near me. No, I'm joking. Right one, oh wow, that feels so smooth and sexy, coach. Yeah, that one feels so much better than the left one. And you do your drills, nice and smooth. Again, low cadence, don't need to be nice and high. There's no particular target for this one though, just whatever feels comfortable. And then, always 30 seconds with both. Oh my God, hallelujah. It's a miracle, coach. I've got 2 legs. I can walk, I can sing, I can dance, I can pedal. Okay, calm down, right? You can pedal again, but it feels great. What we're doing now is we're also then sending cognitive signals, pedaling, floating. Then, over time, all we do, yeah baby, we increase the resistance. Watch the pelvis, keep it nice and still, so I don't want you giving it, you know, one eye closed. I can do it. No, you're not doing it. You've got other synergist muscles then helping it. Keep it nice and relaxed. If you're outdoors, you've got your rear stays. That's this section of the bike, the back triangle, okay? Just keep your foot away from the drive chain if you've got your non-drive chain foot hanging free. If it tangles with the chain, yes, you'll not only get a Cat 4 tattoo, but you may lose your leg, okay? So keep it out the way. Keep it out the way if you're outside. It's not difficult to do, okay? But build up the resistance, but keep your form, okay? Nice and easy. Now what happens if we hear those clicking noises, coach? Slow the pedal down or increase the torque until you find that sweet balance. And before you know it, you'll be doing sub-threshold efforts, one-legged on the bike. It's a fucking great drill. Why is not everybody doing it then? Because, how do you put on Strava? One-legged leg drills, that's why my speed is a little bit slower than normal. People are just looking at you going, what a wank stain. Yeah, just do the work every week, every opportunity you've got. I would recommend you do this strength work at the end when the legs are already fatigued. So you're using a stimulus already. Always finish with the 2. Super easy. That's 3 drills from BFR to the low cadence, high torque, your deadlift on the bike, to a skilled one-legged drill that's not only driving up the nervous system, but it's driving up your pedal efficiency while developing strength. I mean, how much more value can you get? You've also got your video of your foot, and you can start to look at the 2 different feet. You can actually look at how the foot interacts with the pedal. Gives you so much knowledge. Yeah, learn about yourself. In Scotland at this time of year, filming this video, we have gone 21 days without rain. That is taps off weather. So it is. There's a video floating about that's really important, especially if you're over 50. It's exercises I believe you shouldn't be doing, that they may be causing you a problem. Have a little look at that. There's 30 years of knowledge in this head, and it's constantly growing, and sometimes it just needs to get out. Talking about getting out, I think the weather's too good. I'm gonna have a taps off ride. Yes.